Roll the Tape Film Crew, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Roll the Tape Podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. We live and live in color. Let me turn this other light out. Yeah, there it is. Hold on, let me make the adjustment right here. Hold on. Bam, that'll work. What's going on? Everybody cool? Yeah, we're gonna talk, man. Y'all don't mind, do y'all? Talk a little bit of boxing. This is my first time doing putting a link in the chat for the YouTube live stream. Usually when I invite people on, typically we do the StreamYard, but we rocking out straight like this. For anybody that want to join, I think if you click the link that's pinned to the top of the chat, you're more than welcome to come on through. I want to talk the business of boxing. I know that people are all over the boxing community talking about this hot topic because Errol Spence Jr., he inserted himself in the 154-pound sweepstakes officially on Saturday night, the day before yesterday, when he jumped into the ring after the Fundora Zoo fight. Fundora won on the cards, unanimous decision, or was it a split decision? I think it was a split decision. Nonetheless, he won. He is now officially the WBO and new WBC junior middleweight champion of the world. Hold on one second, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape Film Crew, give me a second. I got my man, my old head, Danny Davis, on the phone. Hold on. I'm trying to plug him in. I'm muted. Man, I was saying salute to my guy, Andre Noble. Thank you, Andre, for your support. He's a supervisor of the Roll the Tape Film Crew, and he is also a member of the channel. Salute to everybody. All I was saying, salute to my man Andre Noble again. Thank you for your contribution, Dre, to the channel, man. Thanks for your support. What I was saying was, I was on the phone with my guy, Danny Davis. Many of you know who he is. If you don't, he's intellectually loan. There's a Danny. There's a link right in the chat. If you go in the chat part, Danny, I'm gonna actually try to send it to you too, Dan. But Dan is my man. He's like family, man. Y'all remember him coming up here before. Not only is he a certified bona fide, I'm talking about he's the best in my eyes. But you know, I'm biased because he's family. But he's definitely in the top two, top three in the business when it comes to being cutmen and rapping hands. You've heard me say his name time and time again. I'm trying to get him onto the stream here because he's an expert when it comes to raps, you know, hand raps, rapping professional boxers' hands for a very long time, for decades. And, you know, being a cut man all over the world, not just here in America. He's international. You know what I mean? But I want him to come on because we saw how Fundora and Tim Zoo both looked from what was that, round two all the way to round 12. And I wanted to allow Danny to come on real quick and give his expertise of what went wrong in both of their corners, because the bleeding didn't stop from both fighters. What could have been done, you know, to benefit both fighters, to stop the bleeding, and make this a fight where, you know, Tim Zoo could be comfortable, Fundora could be comfortable as much as possible based on the injuries that they sustained. Give me a second. I'm trying to hold on. Let me see something real quick. Oh, they're not putting it up here. I'm trying to. They're not even letting me. I can't even go on my own channel. Trying to get my man Danny on here before we get to the business of boxing, because I'm gonna break down the business of boxing, because everybody's talking about Errol Spence getting in the ring. You know, how is he able to get the fight with Fundora and not Terence Crawford? When Terence Crawford dominated Errol Spence, he beat Errol Spence. Errol Spence lost in his last fight in devastating fashion, but yet he was in the ring saying that he wanted to fight Fundora at 154 pounds for both of the titles. We're going to get into all of that. I'm going to break this whole thing down. I'm just trying to see if my man Danny is able to come on. Because people don't understand the business of boxing. They talking about this topic and don't even understand the business or the concept of business when it comes to boxing. You know, some people are saying that, you know, Errol Spence jumped in the ring and he shouldn't have, because Terence Crawford was next in line. Terence Crawford also tweeted that, you know, hey, it was because he beat him that he's next. And he actually said that Errol Spence got to wait in line first. In other words, he's saying that I'm next. Terence Crawford saying I'm next. Me, I'm next, not you, to fight Fundora. We're going to talk about all of that in just a few minutes. I'm glad you all here. Come on in, y'all. Click on the like button when you come in if you can. If not, wait till, you know, some empowerment, some education and entertainment come. If you want to wait to click the like button. But come on in. Salute. 2 Cents Boxing, member of the channel, supervisor of the Road to Take film crew. Always good to see you. Quick question, y'all, because I'm going to need help getting my guy Danny Davis on here. Is the link pinned to the top of the chat? Can y'all see the link for somebody to join in the stream? Can y'all see it? Is that in the chat? Can somebody let me know real quick? Hey Ryan, we gonna get down. We gonna get down to whether or not Crawford's 147 or 154. We gonna get to it. Can anybody? You can't click it. Oh, you can't? Why can't nobody click the link? What happened? Oh, I don't know what I do wrong. I shared the link. So y'all do see it, but you just can't click it. That's because I guess YouTube don't allow. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Let me see something. Let me see if I can do this. Oh, they ain't even gonna let me do that. You can see it, but it's not clickable. Dang. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get my guy Danny on the phone. Hold on. Yeah, the link not even clickable. Dang, I was trying to have people come up to talk about. Oh, I know I was on mute on purpose. I was on the phone with my guy, Danny Davis. All right, but let's get right into it, man. Everybody here now, whoever's not here, they're gonna come in. Salute to my guy, Matthew Thomas, member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll to Take Film crew. What's going on, Matt? Listen, I gotta keep it all the way 100 with y'all because everybody and their grandma keep talking about Errol Spence should get in the back of the line. Terence Crawford is next in line to fight the winner of Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. Let me take my glasses off because I want to make sure everybody can hear me when I speak. Now, this is not a criticism of nobody else on YouTube. They got a YouTube channel, content creator. All I'm saying is everybody's speaking on this topic and they don't understand the business of boxing. So now I can use this real life scenario, like I always do, as a teachable moment. Let's get right to it. Now, I got some questions that I want to ask first, if y'all don't mind, before I get into breaking down the business of boxing and what needs to happen and what should not happen. Okay? Now, quick question. And I think somebody beat me to the punch earlier. Salute to my guy, Biz on the beat. Now, is Terence Crawford 154 pounds or is he 147 pounds? I want a lot of engagement in the chat because I want to make sure the foundation is laid properly. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page because when I start talking about this, I want to be able to build from the bottom all the way up to the top of the ladder. Now, this is for the chat now. If you're watching the replay of this live, I welcome you. Thank you. I appreciate you joining in the replay. You can also participate in the comment section below. Listen, I want to also salute everybody that's going to contribute to the channel, live and live in color. I appreciate and welcome all support through Cash App and through the super sticker and super thanks and the super chat live right now. We need all your support. We know that I'm shadow banned. No excuses. It is what it is. But I appreciate all of your support. And whatever contributions you make, I'm going to publicly acknowledge you. The Cash App is $Manager Marty. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying this is because I can't put all this on the screen because we're not using StreamYard today. We're using YouTube Live. All right. Now, I had a question. Is Terence Crawford 147 pounds or is he 154 pounds? Which weight class is he competing in as of today? Let me put my glasses on so I can hear what y'all talking about. Okay. You see, we have nobody didn't answer. Oh, a couple people answered. Okay. Somebody said 147. It's 147. Okay. Okay. 147. Okay, so basically he's 104. Okay, thank you, Andre Noble. So he's basically a 147-pound fighter. Double salute to my guy, Matthew Thomas. Thank you for the contribution and your support, Matt. Matt says, for the lessons. And that was what his contribution was for. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate you, brother. Always, man. So Terence Crawford is 147 pounds. How do we know this? Michael Dangerfield, what's going on, brother? How do we know this? All things, what's up? How do we know this? Electric Agitator, how you doing, brother? The Kegi, what's up? Bernard, what's up? Edward Valentin, how do we know this? Because he is a belt holder of 3 titles in the welterweight division. Okay, now that we got that established, because I want to make sure we on the same page here. Because when people look at this scenario, they automatically jump to conclusions and say that Terence Crawford is being outed. Terence Crawford is being done wrong. There's an injustice happening. Can we get the likes up, please? The likes and the viewership is not congruent. Can we make this congruent? Can we make it make sense so other people can learn about the business of boxing? And when you pressed on the like button, that's what happens. YouTube, well, at least they supposed to. So for some reason on my channel, most of the time they don't, but they supposed to. They'll push the algorithm out, right? Right? That's what they'll do, especially when I'm using their platform. That's why, if you notice, my viewership is different when I use another platform, a different platform like StreamYard, than directly from YouTube, right? All right. Now, he's 147 pounds. He's a champion at 147. Now that we got that established, what we talking about at 154 again? He's 147 pounds. Terence Crawford is. He holds 3 titles at 147 pounds, right? Okay. How is he being done wrong if he's already a champion at 147? In other words, he's officially a welterweight champion of the world, right? Okay. Now, I have some questions. I just want to lay a foundation for that first, because I just want to make sure that we know that he holds the titles at 147 right now, today. Okay, so we all know that. All right. Now let's move along. Quick question. All right. Do anybody have a problem with Rolly Romero? Yes or no? Do anybody have a problem with Rolly Romero? Double salute to my guy, Lucky McKinnels. That's my guy, Day One supporter. Thank you for your support and your contribution to the Cash App, brother. Appreciate you. Lucky says, for Terence Crawford, Terence Crawford should fight Tim Tszyu next. Lucky always. Lucky's a very smart man. Lucky, that's the point that I was gonna make later on. Hold on, Lucky. Dang. All right, it's cool. It's cool. Lucky didn't know. Lucky didn't know I was going to say that. But it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna bring it back around. But listen, nobody has a problem. I see all these no's. No, not sure. No, no. He trashed, but no, nope. Everybody's telling me that they don't have a problem with Rolly Romero. Not you, Lucky. I'm sorry. I meant to say Rolly. So no one has a problem with Rolly Romero. Okay. Does anybody have a problem with Sebastian Fundora? Anybody got a problem with him? Just yes or no. Can we just get some engagement in the chat? I'm going somewhere with this, but I would love for your participation to make this entertaining, but also educational. Does anybody have a problem with Sebastian Fundora? Okay, nobody has a problem with Sebastian. No, okay, somebody said, yeah, I don't know what the problem is. Okay, great. So, all right. So, a lot of people don't have a problem with him. You know why I asked you all that? Because Sebastian Fundora and Rolly Romero, they have something in common. Yeah, I know they were on the same card over the weekend. Not that. They have something in common. In their last fight, before they became a world champion, they both got knocked out. Did y'all know that? Thank you, Windy City Assassin. Salute. Did y'all know that? They both got knocked out, and then they got something else in common. In their next fight, they fought for a world title. You heard me talk about this first 2 weeks ago. Now, I heard that there are other people starting to use that as their examples, but we know that I spoke on this first 2 weeks ago when I talked about Sebastian Fundora getting a shot in the first place at this title with Tim Tszyu. Just 2.5 weeks ago, I talked about this. But that's okay. You know, people be listening to me, and then they go on their channel, and then they regurgitate it like they thought about it themselves. And that is okay, as long as you get the information. And I'm not talking about nobody in particular. I'm just telling you what things I've heard people say over the last 2 days. Now, let's get on to this. So, Rolly Romero and Sebastian Fundora both got knocked out in their last fight before they competed for a world title and won. Remember Rolly Romero? He fought Tank Davis. Y'all remember that? He fought Tank Davis and he got knocked out. And then in his next fight, he was competing for a world title and he won and became champion. Sebastian Fundora, in his last fight, before he fought Tim Tszyu Saturday night, remember he got knocked out by Brian Mendoza. Y'all remember that? And then now in his next fight, he competed for a world title, 2, not 1, 2, and he actually won. Okay? What is the point of me bringing that up? Because people are saying that because Terence Crawford dominated Errol Spence, and because Errol Spence got knocked out in his last fight, that he should get in the back of this imaginary line, and then all of a sudden, he shouldn't be able to fight for a world title in his next fight. But if you go back and look at the last decade of boxing, you can see the business patterns of certain promoters where this happens. Am I right or wrong? Now, if I'm not right, y'all can correct me because there's other fights I can bring up too. I'm just using those 2 examples because those are recent and we all saw both of those guys compete on the same card on Saturday evening, right? Yes, 2 Cents Boxing. Yes, he was. I saw the snack logo on Brian Mendoza's trunks. It's always in the back. If y'all go back on YouTube, y'all might be able to find that. Yeah, Mendoza had the snack. I think it was written in gold letters. Yeah, it was on his trunks. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Got his behind handed to him, didn't he? You see, in Lomachenko's last fight, right? Lomachenko last fight. Didn't he lose to Devin Haney? Okay then. You see he fighting next, don't you? Okay then. Now I just wanted to bring that part up. Now I have a, excuse me, I have a question. I heard people on this channel say, especially in my comments section, last week and 2 weeks ago and 2.5 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, and even on this panel here, I heard Terence Crawford fans say, and other places on YouTube, that Terence Crawford is in negotiations with Tim Tszyu. Did y'all hear that too? Let's see if we can get some engagement in the chat. Remember, people were saying that Tim Tszyu and Terence Crawford was in negotiations. You remember that, Andre? 2 Cents remember that. Y'all remember that? I got a question on that. If Terence Crawford was in negotiations with Tim Tszyu, then my question is, how did Sebastian Fundora get the call in the first place? If Terence Crawford, I'm going to ask it again, was in negotiations to fight Tim Tszyu, then how come Sebastian Fundora, who was already on the card originally to fight somebody else, how did he get the opportunity instead of Terence Crawford? I mean, if they was already in a negotiation with each other, it would be more feasible for all parties involved not to call Sebastian Fundora, but to just get Bud on the phone and say, hey, Keith Thurman pulled out. He suffered an injury. He will not be able to compete, unfortunately. But however, we've been in negotiation with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford can just, boom, get in there and fight Tim Tszyu. But that's not what happened. You see? What happened was Sebastian Fundora's promoter, I've said his name hundreds and hundreds of times on this channel, Samson Lukowitz, he got the call on behalf of Sebastian Fundora, and that's how Sebastian Fundora got this fight. What am I saying? I'm saying that this is the premise that I built this YouTube channel on. And that is a slogan that you all have heard me say time and time again, and you're going to see it on the merchandise that's coming soon. Good representation is priceless. Good representation in this business is priceless. Remember I keep telling y'all that? Sebastian Fundora has good representation. Errol Spence Jr. have good representation. I keep telling y'all this. And some of y'all are finally getting it. Most of you have heard me say it and y'all believe, but then we still have a few people in the audience that don't believe. Good representation in this business is priceless. Now, for those of you that say that Terence Crawford is being done extremely wrong, that it's an injustice, that he should not have to place second to Errol Spence, that Errol Spence shouldn't get this opportunity to fight Sebastian Fundora, that Terence Crawford should get this opportunity because he beat Errol Spence. Let me ask you a question. Is Terence Crawford a free agent? Because that's also what we've been hearing as well, that he's a free agent, right? In other words, is he has no contractual obligation to a promoter. He has no exclusive dealings with one promoter, correct? That's what we're hearing. Okay. Okay. So he doesn't have a promoter from what we've told. We're talking to business now. I need y'all to stay with me. Because the other guys that's talking about this, they don't know the business. They're fans of people. And that's why I always give you the business. Come on back over here and hear me out. Now, so he doesn't have a promoter. Okay, great. Now that we solidified that he's a free agent, this is what we're hearing. So we got to go by whatever evidence we can use. So Terence Crawford is a free agent. He doesn't have a promoter. Okay. What network does Terence Crawford fight on with no promoter? Okay. Y'all don't have an answer? Okay. What venue would this Terence Crawford and Sebastian Fundora fight be held at, since he doesn't have a promoter? Y'all can't answer that? Yeah, okay. Who's going to put up the money? He doesn't have a promoter. He doesn't have a network. Who's going to put up the money to pay both the fighters, Sebastian Fundora and Terence Crawford? Bob Arum is? No, because Bob Arum done told y'all before that the money that he lost promoting Terence Crawford, he could have got him a mansion built in Beverly Hills or Calabasas. That's what he said? Okay then. Cold word. He's not marketable. That's what Bob Arum said. Oh, okay. Let's see. How about the zone? Maybe this fight between Terence Crawford and Fundora could have been on the zone. How about under Eddie Hearn? Because he's a free agent, right? Okay, what about Golden Boy Promotion? He's a free agent, right? Who's going to put up the money? Y'all keep saying, oh man, he jumped the line. Okay. He doesn't have a promoter. He doesn't have a network. These are the two entities that will put up money for a boxing event. There's other streams, but I'm just using those two. Okay. Now, because you need the other streams come with a promoter or a network. Okay. Now that we got that out the way. So how is this unfair? I mean, in other words, what leverage can Terence Crawford use to make an appeal to Samson Lukowitz to say it hedge fund, hedge fund? Maybe he could do that. That's a good idea. Oh, Terence Crawford said that he realized that was not intelligent. He said that. He said he realized that hedge fund wasn't what he thought it was. Remember when he was in the interview talking about he learned the business of boxing now? You remember that? Okay. So we got that out the way. Well, I mean, Bud Crawford. I tell you what, I'm a generous guy. Have Terence Crawford call me. I'll help him get the fight with Tim Tszyu. Yes, I'll help him get the fight with Tim. Of course. Because here's the thing. Y'all was saying he was in negotiation with Tim Tszyu anyway, right? Okay, so he can fight Tim Tszyu right now. He can fight Tim Tszyu now. What's the problem? He can fight Tim Tszyu now. Isn't that the guy that y'all said that y'all want him to fight? Some of y'all, right? Let him fight Tim Tszyu now. That's all I'm saying. I got y'all a better one. Or he can fight Boots at 147 pounds since he got all the belts down there. Oh, Boots can't sell. That's what y'all say, right? Okay. Boots don't have a big fan base. That's what y'all say, right? Okay. So then my question is, why does Terence Crawford still have the 147-pound titles and he didn't officially move up to 154 pounds yet? Because before Tim Tszyu name came up, y'all wasn't talking about Terence Crawford fighting at 154. Y'all kept saying, I heard you. If the shoe fits, take it off and find a bigger size. I'm talking about you. Because y'all was saying that y'all wanted Terence Crawford to fight Errol Spence in the rematch at 147. Remember that? I remember some of y'all saying that. You was up here saying it on this channel. Oh no. Errol, listen. I'm gonna bring it back. Terence Crawford said that because he won, he get to choose the weight. Remember that? Come on, y'all. Let's stick together now. He get to choose the weight of the rematch. And I heard some of y'all say that the rematch should stay at 147 because that's where Terence Crawford wanted the fight to be at. Remember y'all said that? Because he won against Spence, and the contract stated that he gets to choose the weight that the rematch would be in. Remember Bud said that in the interview he did? And y'all were repeating that? Y'all remember that? Okay then. So now that we got that established, then if the rematch between Crawford and Spence was going to be at 147, then how come y'all talking about an injustice at 154? Y'all said y'all want him to fight in the rematch with Spence at 47. But y'all didn't want him to fight Boots at 147. Now, all of a sudden, that Errol Spence get injured, or Errol Spence had to get surgery on his eye, now all of a sudden it's, let's move up to 54. But you know what's interesting about that? The last time I checked, some of y'all wanted Terence Crawford to skip 154 pounds. Y'all remember that? We're doing a history lesson tonight. Remember some of y'all said that y'all wanted Terence Crawford to skip 154 pounds? Remember some of y'all was saying y'all wanted Terence Crawford to skip the 160 pounds? Y'all remember that? And y'all wanted Terence Crawford to shoot from 147 all the way up to 168 to fight Canelo Alvarez. Y'all remember that? So if he was going to fight Canelo and y'all was cool with it, what's the problem now? He can still fight the winner of Canelo and Mugia. Terence Crawford can do that, right? I'm just asking okay, will Terence Crawford make more money fighting Canelo or fighting Sebastian Fundora? Let's talk about it now. The air fryer is warming up. Will Terence? I need engagement in the chat. I need engagement in a replay of this live in the comments section. Let's talk about it now. Will Terence Crawford make more money fighting Canelo Alvarez than he would fighting Sebastian Fundora? Can somebody just tell me either one? Just yes or no. Just yes or no. Would Terence or just put Canelo name in or Fundora's name in the chat? Let's talk about it. So will Terence Crawford make more money fighting Canelo Alvarez, or would he make more money fighting Sebastian Fundora? Which one? Okay, thank you. So he would make more money fighting Canelo than he would Sebastian Fundora. So then my question is, how is somebody doing Crawford wrong when he gonna make less money fighting Fundora at 154 when he can still just shoot up to 168 and fight Canelo? Y'all said y'all wanted, see, a couple months ago, y'all was saying y'all wanted Terence Crawford to fight Canelo Alvarez, right? What happened? How'd that change? Oh, okay. Let's talk about it. Now, they said the WBO was going to wait for 1 week. That's what you heard, didn't you? You heard that. Oh, in 1 week, the WBO is going to make a ruling and mandate Crawford, and then within 48 hours of the fight, the WBO shoots an email out. I want to read the email. They shoot an email out. I screenshotted it. I'm gonna read it. They shot an email out talking about how they were going to mandate Terence Crawford and Fundora to fight for the WBO. Within 48 hours, they said it was good. We heard people say, "Oh no!" In 1 week, the WBO said this, and within 48 hours of the fight, in less than a week, they email the parties involved. Okay, or the parties they think is involved. I'm going to read it to you, but I wanted to do a small recap for the new audience that came in. In other words, there was a lot of hypocrisy going on. There's a lot of hypocrisy going on because nobody has a problem with Rolly Romero getting knocked out by Tank Davis, and then in his next fight, he fight for a world title and win it. Nobody had a problem with Sebastian Fundora in his last fight getting knocked out by Brian Mendoza, and then his next fight for a world title and then win it, which he did on Saturday with Tim Tszyu. Y'all don't have a problem with that, right? Okay, nobody had a problem with it. But he got the call instead of Crawford at the last minute, short notice, when Terence Crawford was allegedly in negotiations with Tim Tszyu. That makes absolutely no sense. If you in negotiation with somebody and an opponent that's injured falls out, wouldn't it be smart to just reach out and say, "Hey, we already in negotiations to fight. A fighter that I was supposed to headline with got injured. Now me and you can fight." That's what I thought. You see how that don't make sense? You see how something else that don't make sense? Let me tell you what else don't make sense. That just a few months ago, some people were saying, "Oh, oh man, Terence Crawford's gonna move up and fight Canelo." Even Terence Crawford was saying in an interview that he wanted to fight Canelo. So then what happened? Go fight Canelo. Why all of a sudden now everybody want to rush to 154? Y'all wasn't talking about Terence Crawford fighting Errol Spence in the rematch at 154. Some of y'all, right? Because y'all was the same one saying, Terence Crawford said in an interview that the contract stated that whoever wins the fight get to choose the weight class for the rematch. And Terence Crawford chose to fight Errol Spence at 147, even though Errol Spence told you all at the post-fight press conference that he can't make the weight and he's not interested in going back to 147. Remember he said that? But y'all was cool with Terence Crawford being able to have that leverage, some of you, to fight Errol Spence at 47. So then, okay, keep that same energy. If he won't fight Canelo, then let him fight at 47. Go fight Boots. Oh, he don't want to fight Boots? So which one is it? Oh, now that Errol Spence spoke on fighting Sebastian Fundora, now he got to get in the back of the line. Which one is it? You see? Now, I'm going to read the email that the WBO sent. Man, I make too much sense when I talk. Please be, this is from the WBO. It was emailed. I'm going to show it to you all. You all can be on the same page. Y'all see that? Hold up, let me see something. Let me make sure this is clear now. Can y'all see that? World Boxing Organization. It was emailed to Mr. Tom Brown, that represents TGB Promotions. Y'all see that? And then, I want to make sure y'all see this. Mr. Harrison Whitman, the legal advisor of Terence Crawford. Y'all see that? Can y'all see that? April 1st, allegedly. Now, I'm going to read some of it. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to read some of it. Please be advised that March 25th, 2024, this committee granted sanction approval of the Tim Tszyu Fundora WBO voluntary championship contest held on March 30th, 2024 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sanction approval was granted subject to the winner facing next the mandatory challenger in the junior middleweight division, Terence Bud Crawford, within 180 days after the Tim Tszyu Fundora bout. The foregoing condition was essential for purposes of sanction approval. I want to stop right there. I have a question. How can the WBO mandate that Terence Crawford, the WBO welterweight champion of the world, is next in line at 154 pounds to fight a WBO 154-pound champion? How they do that? In other words, is the only jurisdiction that the WBO have over Terence Crawford is him being the welterweight champion for the WBO. He's the WBO welterweight champion of the world, correct? Okay, so they have jurisdiction over him as the 147-pound welterweight champion. What jurisdiction do they have over Terence Crawford at 154 pounds? Can somebody help me understand this? What jurisdiction do they have over Terence Crawford in the 154-pound division if they have jurisdiction over Terence Crawford in the welterweight division, since he holds and represents their title at the welterweight division? Can somebody help me understand that? If that is the case, then how come they didn't mandate for another WBO champion? Hold on, let me back up. Gregory Quarterbaum, who was a Terence Crawford fan, says because it's their belt to do as they please. Well, wait a minute. Their belt that Terence Crawford is holding. See, that's where the jurisdiction come in at, Greg. Terence Crawford is holding the belt that is theirs at 147 pounds. What I'm basically saying is, Mr. Greg, if they're able to mandate Terence Crawford to fight at 154 pounds when he don't even hold their title there, then how come the WBO didn't and couldn't mandate Terence Crawford to compete and defend that WBO title against somebody else outside of Spence? And I can't wait till some of y'all say, man, it's because the rematch was okay, great. Once they found out that the rematch wasn't happening, then how come they didn't say, well, hey, the rematch is not happening with Spence anymore. Terence Crawford is still a WBO champion. We're going to mandate him to compete for the title that he's holding and representing at the welterweight division against another welterweight. Come on, somebody got to make sense. Somebody got to make sense. Somebody got to make sense when they talk to me about this. Thank you, Uptown Boy in the keggy. Terence Crawford holds a 147-pound WBO title. They didn't exercise no jurisdiction for Terence Crawford to defend their title in the welterweight division, but yet they're trying to come in and mandate that Terence Crawford fight at 154 pounds. The last time we seen this play ran from the WBO, y'all remember last February? Y'all remember? Some of y'all might have forgot this, and y'all need to come back to reality and remember this. When the WBO said that Alexis Rocha was the mandatory for Terence Crawford, and they gave them a certain time limit to negotiate, or that fight was going to go to a purse bid. Y'all remember that? This was a few months after the Ebenezer fight. Do y'all remember that? Now, King on Deck, that's your name? You said he is not staying at 147. He said that right after he beat Earl. Stop lying to your viewers, sir. When did he say that? Because the last time I checked, I thought actions was louder than words. What I'm saying is, if Terence Crawford said that he was moving up in weight with his mouth, he sure didn't show that with his actions yet. Why? That's why I asked y'all this in the beginning of this. What division he was in. He's still a 147-pound champion. So if he was going to move up, vacate the titles. Duh. This makes too much sense when we talk about this. More and more. The more that I keep talking, the more sense it makes. If Terence Crawford was moving up to 154 pounds, why is he still the 147-pound champion representing 3 sanctioning bodies? Can you answer me that? Actions speak louder than words. You see, when Errol Spence said he couldn't make the weight no more, you see what he did, right? He stuck to his guns and said that he's not fighting at 47 no more. And he got in the ring just now on Saturday night, and he showed everybody with his actions that he's willing to fight at 54 and not 47. You see my point? You keep saying that he negotiated with Tim Tszyu, King and Deck, and all you Terence Crawford fans. So if he was negotiating with Tim Tszyu, then how come Sebastian Fundora got the call as the last-minute replacement and not Terence Crawford? Let's see if you got the answer to that. Because I'm still waiting for that answer, first of all. Okay, you don't have the answer, and neither do some of these YouTubers. Got to learn the business of boxing, and I'm about to break it down to you, so I'm glad that you all here. So what I'm saying is this. He's a 147-pound WBO champion. They didn't mandate him to fight nobody else in the division where he holds a title at. Come on, talk to me. Okay, then. We've seen this play ran before. Remember, Alexis Rocha got the email via the WBO to Eric Gomez representing Golden. You remember that? Okay. Some of you did that fight happen next? Okay then. I also want to point out something else. I want to show y'all this. This is important. This is an email from the WBO. I just showed it to you. I'm gonna show it to y'all again. Y'all see where it says Team Fundora? Y'all see where it say Team? I'm gonna try to make sure I put it up here. Y'all see where it say Team Fundora? Mr. Tom Brown, TGB Promotions, Team Fundora. Y'all see that, right? Okay. I'm glad y'all see. I'm gonna show y'all again. Do y'all see that? Where it says Team Fundora. Y'all see that? Mr. Tom Brown, TGB Promotions. Y'all see where it say Terence Crawford? Can y'all see that? Is it upside down? Oh no, y'all see it. Okay. I had a question. Who is Sebastian Fundora's promoter? Because I told y'all this answer weeks and weeks ago when I was talking about David Benavidez. So now I'm going to I'm going to spin the block. Who is Sebastian Fundora's promoter? If you forgot, that's okay. I'm going to give you the answer. Who is Sebastian Fundora's promoter? Can somebody in the chat let the audience know? I'm going to tell y'all anyway if you don't know. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all. Sebastian Fundora's promoter is not Tom Brown from TGB Promotions. Sebastian Fundora's promoter is Samson Lukowicz. I've said his name 1,000 times on this channel. He's also the promoter of David Benavidez. I can name some of the other fighters he promotes, but the point I'm making is Samson Lukowicz is the promoter of Sebastian Fundora. So the email should have went to Samson, not TGB. But I understand it's a PBC card, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I know. That's why the WBO should have did their due diligence, because he's not even, it's Samson Lukowicz. So Samson Lukowicz represents Fundora. That's who should have got this email. Okay. I just wanted to point that out for the people that be just talking and don't know what they're talking about. I want to shed some light on this. Now, failure to reach an accord within the period outlined herein, which is the camps are granted 20 days to negotiate. That's what it said. Will result in the committee ordering a purse bid proceedings pursuant to WBO regulations of World Championship contests. I'm going to stop right there. What is the penalty if Sebastian Fundora don't oblige this mandate from the WBO? Somebody tell me. At least one thing. Can somebody tell me? Can someone tell us what is the penalty? Okay. Somebody said he will get stripped. Anyone else? Let's talk about this. Anyone else? He will get stripped. The Keggy is encouraging you all. Can you please increase the likes? All you gotta do is uppercut, jab, left hook, right hook, body shot, the like button. That's all you can do. Okay, great. I'm glad y'all said that. So the WBO can strip Fundora, right? Okay. Well, you know that Fundora can actually vacate that title too, right? Okay. Fundora can actually vacate the title so that he could fight Errol Spence instead of Terence Crawford. And guess what? He still will have one more belt, the WBC. He can vacate that 154-pound WBO title and still have the WBC belt and still fight Errol Spence. Now, let me get to the business part of this, and I'm going to let y'all go. Who generates more money? Fundora fighting Terence Crawford or Fundora fighting Errol Spence? In the chat, let's engage and participate. If you're watching the replay of this live, let's engage and participate in the comments section below. Who would generate more money? Fundora versus Errol Spence or Fundora versus Terence Crawford? In the chat, let's talk about it. Mr. Greg, I would love to hear your rebuttal on this, if you have one. If you don't, you can give your opinion, because I'm only saying, Greg, I'm not pointing you out, Mr. Greg. It's just that there's a lot of Terence Crawford fans that are here, and I want all of you all to engage. There's a lot of Errol Spence fans that are here. I want all of you to engage. There's some Fundora and Tim Zoo fans that's going to be watching this if they're not here already. I want you all to engage. Who will generate more revenue? Fundora versus Crawford, Fundora versus Spence. Let's talk about it. Okay, great. Now, we're not talking about Jake Paul, Larry. Let's stay on Terence Crawford Errol Spence, Tim Zoo, and Fundora. See, you trying to bring Jake Paul. Jake Paul don't got nothing to do with this. I'm just asking a question. Okay? The link's not working. I put the link out there, Mr. Greg, but the link's not working. I thought it was a clickable link, but it's not working. At least that's what I was told. So now we know that Errol Spence is a commodity in boxing. We know this. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. He is a commodity in boxing. Okay? He has marketability through his crossover appeal. We know this. Right? Right? Okay. We also know that Errol Spence have a history in multiple locations with doing very well live gates. We also know that Errol Spence have done extremely well on pay-per-view. More audience recognize him because of his name. Why? Because he's been exposed to multiple pay-per-views where he's done extremely well, including, but not limited to, fighting in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, fighting in the Dallas Cowboys AT&T Stadium. So we've seen him do big numbers. He fought at the Barclays Center too. But that was a long time ago. What I'm basically saying is that when you look at a guy that can generate multi millions of dollars, not just in live gate, not just in pay-per-view sales, but the ancillary rights, the foreign rights, the closed circuit, all of this, sponsorship, all of this. All right, these are all streams of revenue that the promoter can benefit from, that the fighters who have a deal outside of being locked into an exclusive promotion with a promoter have. Terence Crawford doesn't have that marketability. He doesn't have crossover appeal. He doesn't have a history of doing well on multiple pay-per-views. We know this. It's not a knock on him. This is just the business of boxing. There's only one place where he sold well at, even if he wasn't fighting somebody with a big name like Errol Spence. And that is the T-Mobile Arena with Errol Spence. But outside of Errol Spence, he did very well in Nebraska with David Ebenezer. His hometown, right? Okay. But if you look at his pay-per-view numbers outside of Errol Spence, when he was with Top Rank, they weren't that good. And even if they were good, he didn't get the benefit from it because he was locked into a contract. Exclusive. Right? In other words, he didn't get no back-end money. Maybe be a little bit more specific. Fundora will make way more money, and there will be way more revenue generated with Errol Spence fighting Fundora than it would Terence Crawford fighting Fundora. That's just a known fact based on the business of boxing. So it's not like somebody's being evil or malicious toward Terence Crawford, because that's the narrative that's coming out, that he's being railroaded and, he should be in the front of the line. And, well, when has he officially became a 154 pounder? Because the last time I checked, and the last time you all checked, he was still the welterweight champion of the world, holding 3 of the titles, right? Okay, then. He's not even competing at the 154-pound division. He hasn't shown his actions like vacating the belt. See, if you're not done in the division where you hold a belt and you move up to compete for another belt, fine. Because you're going to come back down and compete at the lower weight that you're in, that you have a belt in. But if you know you're not going to compete at 147 anymore, what's the point of holding up the division and holding on to the titles? Vacate them and move up to 154. Now it becomes official. Now we can see the WBO saying, oh, let's try to see if we can mandate Fundora to fight Crawford. Well, hold on for a minute. We haven't seen Crawford's actions show us that he moved up to 154. He's still a 147-pound champion. So then if that's the case, then how are we talking about he was railroaded and Spence bumped him in line? I'm confused. Double salute to my guy, Clifford Henry. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Clifford Henry says facts, and Clifford is a day one supporter of this channel. Thank you again so much, Cliff. You see? So now watch this. If the WBO knows the business of boxing, based on what I just said, and based on what some of you agreed to, that Errol Spence will make more money with Fundora than Terence Crawford versus Fundora, then why wouldn't they push to get more money in sanctioning fees from a Fundora Errol Spence fight instead of a Terence Crawford Fundora fight? We need answers. You see what I'm saying? What is this really about? Think about what I just said. Y'all heard me? Think about it. I'm gonna let that marinate so y'all can process that. If this fight will generate way more money with Errol Spence and Fundora opposed to Terence Crawford and Fundora, then why is the WBO advocating to have Terence Crawford move up in weight to fight Fundora when they can get more money through the sanctioning fees by having Errol Spence and Fundora fight for the 154-pound WBO title? What is this really about? Think about it. Nobody's in business to lose money. If the WBO can make more money with a Spence versus Fundora than they can a Crawford versus Fundora through the sanctioning fees of both fighters based on the revenue, based on how much they want to get paid through their purse, right? Okay. Then what is this really about? What is this really about? Because remember, the WBO, they sent a letter to Alexis Rocha, remember? A couple months after Terence Crawford fought David Evanesian. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? The whole time we were under the impression that Crawford was going to fight Errol Spence way earlier than they fought. Now the WBO is stepping in again, right? So that Terence Crawford can fight Fundora and not Errol Spence. Because they sent that letter out through email 48 hours after Fundora fought. It sounds like to me that Errol Spence and PBC is being railroaded. Because if the WBC can mandate Terence Crawford to be in negotiations for a title that it is the WBO's, but a title that he can win, but why they ain't do all this for a title that he hold for them? Terence Crawford is a 147-pound WBO champion. We didn't hear the WBO step in and try to get Terence Crawford to fight, did it? Did they? Did they? Did the WBO step in to try to get Terence Crawford to fight representing their title at the welterweight division? Absolutely not. But now in the division where they have no jurisdiction over Terence Crawford, they're coming in to back his play. They could have just did all this in the welterweight division for Crawford then. Once they realized that this fight between Spence and Crawford wasn't going to happen in the quote unquote rematch, they should have said, now we got to get Terence Crawford active again. We need more of them sanctioning fees. He holds our title in the welterweight division. Now, if he's not going to move up, we're going to mandate him to negotiate with this person and compete with our title that he's holding. Right? Okay, then. Salute, Diana. Thank you for your super chat. She said, blessings. Blessings to you, my sister. Thank you for your support and contribution. And she's also a member of the channel and the supervisor of the Road to Take Film crew. So that's all I'm saying. What is this really about? Salute to my guy, Big Noble Royalty. Thank you for your super chat, your contribution, and your support. Thank you so much, Big Noble. Big Noble says, keep the knowledge coming, champ. 100. Absolutely. I just want to know if this makes sense because we keep hearing the narrative flowing now that Terence Crawford is being railroaded and Errol Spence is getting the back of the line and all of this because he lost and he got knocked out. And most of you that say that, I don't care who you are, content creator, a boxing fan, Crawford fan, Spence fan, I don't care who you are, manager, promoter, none of y'all was saying that when Rolly got knocked out by Tank and in his next fight, he fought for a world title and won it. None of y'all was saying that when Fundora was announced as being the replacement for Keith Thurman after he got knocked out last year, March 8th, 2023, by Brian Mendoza, and then now in his next fight, he's competing for a world title, and then he won it. So if y'all don't have a problem with none of those two guys getting knocked out in their last fight and competing for a world title and winning it in their next fight, then why y'all got a problem with Errol Spence when he got TKO'd by Terence Crawford, and in his next fight, he won a fight for a world title with Sebastian Fundora? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Another thing I'm asking, how come when Terence Crawford was talking about moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez, none of y'all was talking about him fighting Tim Tszyu or none of the other 154-pounders? Huh? Y'all was all hung out on, oh man, he gonna fight Canelo. He gonna fight Canelo. We're gonna fight Canelo then. Why is that changing now? Because won't Terence Crawford make more money fighting Canelo Alvarez than he would fighting Fundora? Okay, then I already asked that earlier. That's just for the new audience coming in. All right then. He can still fight Canelo. Canelo fighting in May. He's fighting Jaime Munguia. If Jaime Munguia beat Canelo, Terence Crawford can fight him. If Canelo beat Munguia, Terence Crawford can fight him. Yup, I'm glad you said that, Greg, because that was my final point. He also said he wanted Charlo. Y'all remember that? Canelo was a part of the sweepstakes after that. But before Canelo name came up, it was Charlo. Y'all remember that? He wanted to fight Charlo. All right, we'll go fight Charlo now then. He got a belt. Go fight Charlo now. Go fight Canelo after he's done. If he was in negotiation with Tim Tszyu, then how come Sebastian Fundora got the phone call to be the replacement instead of Keith Thurman? When Keith Thurman got injured instead of Crawford. Crawford, he was already in negotiation with him, right? That's what y'all said. That's what some of you YouTubers said, right? All right then. So why he didn't get the call first? Oh, okay. Y'all gotta start having proof when y'all talk. Y'all be just talking. Nobody don't have no evidence. That's all I'm saying. And by the way, back to the email that the WBO sent. They didn't send it to Sebastian Fundora's actual promoter, who was Samson Lukowitz. They sent it to Tom Brown from TGB Promotions. I don't know. So what is this really about? Salute, Ironheart, member of the channel, supervisor of the Road to Tape film crew. So what is this about? The WBO want to step in all of a sudden, which is okay. But y'all didn't step in for Terence Crawford to defend the WBO title at welterweight when y'all found out that the rematch wasn't going to happen. The WBO should have stepped in and said, oh, since the rematch is not going to happen, Terence Crawford has a title where he's representing our organization. We got to mandate him to fight this person or that person. But the WBO didn't do that, right? Okay. Now they're trying to step in all of a sudden. Come on, that don't even make no kind. Y'all don't see what's going on here? The WBO has no jurisdiction of Terence Crawford at 154 pounds. They may have jurisdiction over Terence Crawford representing their sanctioning body at 47. But since when do they have any jurisdiction over Terence Crawford at 154 pounds? Terence Crawford haven't even officially moved up to 154 pounds. Not with his words. Well, he didn't with his words, but definitely not even with his actions. He still holds the belts at 47. What are we talking about here? I'm just trying to make sense of it all. I told y'all at the beginning of this broadcast. I told y'all at the beginning of me starting a YouTube channel. I told y'all in the beginning of an interview that I did in August of 2022 with YSM Sports Media. And this is what I predicated starting my own YouTube channel with as a boxing manager. Good representation in this business is priceless. Sebastian Fundora got this call to headline after getting knocked out because he has good representation. Rolly Romero got the call to be in the main event and fight for a world title after he got knocked out because he had good representation. And if Terence Crawford gets good representation, I'm not talking about no WBO. They trying to get money. That's what their job is, to take 3% of this fighter's person, 2% of this fighter's person, 3% of this fighter's person, 2% of this fighter's purse. And a percentage of the promoter's money to sanction the bout. I don't even want to go there because I already put the expenses out of how that works months ago. But my point is, what is this all about? Good representation in this business is priceless. And the reason why Errol Spence jumped in that ring to make it known that he wanted to fight Fundora for those belts is because Errol Spence has good representation. Good representation in this business is priceless. And I'm going to leave you all with this. I said this on Saturday night when I was commentating on the fights, and after the fight went off, the main event went off, Errol Spence jumped in the ring, and he was doing an interview, right? Okay. After the interview, I said it live. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Look at the business pattern of PBC. When Danny Garcia fought Sean Porter, Errol Spence jumped in the ring, right? And that fight happened next. When Errol Spence and Sean Porter got finished fighting, Danny Garcia jumped in the ring, and that fight happened next. When Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia, Manny Pacquiao was in the ring, and that fight was scheduled to happen next. All the way up until about, I think it was like 2 weeks before the fight actually happening, where it was discovered that Errol Spence had the torn eye retina, right? And he had to get eye surgery. That's what they said. Right? So that is the reason why when Errol Spence came back, he fought Ugas. My point is, these are the practices of how PBC pre-promote their next fights when it's a big fight, right? When it's a major fight, especially when they have both of the fighters close to their hip. That's all I'm saying. And so Errol Spence jumped in the ring, and guess what? He called out Fundora, and it might be a fight that may happen next, according to the behavior patterns of the business model of PBC. That's all I'm saying. Salute to my guy, Lucky McKinnell's, another support and contribution that he has made. Thank you, Lucky McKinnell's. Much support, man. Thank you. Lucky says, Marty, do you think Crawford would make more fighting Fundora or Boots? I think that's a very good question. Very, very, very good question. I think Terence Crawford would make more money fighting Fundora than he would Boots because Fundora has a country behind him. And I hate to leave with the sour taste in our mouths, but American fan base don't support American fighters like other countries support their fighters. And that's just a fact. And both guys, Boots and Crawford, they are American. And yes, they both can make some good money. Of course, Crawford is used to a certain lifestyle, and it is very high risk. So, with that being said, if he's at 147 and he's still the champion and he don't want to vacate the titles like I'm advising him to do, Terence Crawford is going to have to fight Boots. And if he don't want to fight Boots for whatever reason, vacate the titles and move up to 54, and Boots is going to take over the division, something that I've been saying to y'all for years. And that just settles that. So those are the questions that I have. That's my take on everything. And as far as I'm concerned, Errol Spence versus Fundora will generate extremely generate. Let me say the word extremely with that. Extremely generate way more revenue from 5 or 6 different streams of how to generate revenue when you putting on a major boxing event than Fundora and Terence Crawford. Salute to my guy, Electric Agitator. Thank you for your support and your contribution to the channel. As always, Agitator. He says, would Bud fight the Mexican Monster for the biggest payout in his life? I don't know. My thing is, if you're going to go all the way up to 68 to fight the Mexican Monster or Canelo, going up to 54, we shouldn't even be talking about it. Nobody should be talking about him being railroaded and Errol Spence got to get in the back of the line and all that. Why? You're not fighting at the weight anyway. If that happens in that scenario, Electric, you know what I mean? So there's no back of the line in boxing no more. That's the old days. People can lose fights. They can get knocked down, knocked out, as long as they're able to continue to generate revenue. Mike Tyson's still fighting. Apparently, he's still able to generate revenue. Didn't hear too many people tell him to go to the back of the line. Now that he's fighting Jake Paul, right? Okay, then. That's how it is. This is how the business is now. Good representation in this business is priceless. And that's it. I mean, it's priceless. And so that's why you see Errol Spence. His name was in the sweepstakes. Priceless. Good representation. Oh, it's canceled? Oh, I thought they still was rumbling. Okay. Well, it's canceled. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Still price. The representation, good representation is priceless in this business. I keep telling you that. I keep saying it over and over and over again. Y'all said Terence Crawford's a free agent, right? This for the new audience, because everybody's starting to spit information that I already touched on a little earlier. Y'all said he a free agent, right? Okay, then what we talking about? He don't have a network behind him, right? Okay, what we talking about? Who's gonna put the money up for it? All right, he gonna fight Tim. Okay, Terence Crawford gonna fight Sebastian Fundora when the surgery is over. Great. Who gonna put the money up? What network is it gonna be on? Who the promoter gonna be? Because I can answer them questions, and I think you all can too if I threw Errol Spence's name in the hat. All right, let's do this. All right, let's use Errol Spence. Who's gonna be the promoter for the event if Errol Spence fight Fundora? Tom Brown. There you go. Good answer. TGB Promotions. What network is this? Is the fight gonna be streamed on? Amazon Prime. Good answer. What about venue? How about either Las Vegas or LA or of course AT&T Stadium in Dallas? There you go. I threw Vegas and LA in there because hey, remember, Fundora got a country on his back. They be in Texas and California and Vegas now. But I'm just saying we got 3 venues right just off the bat, just right there. So we can answer these questions a little more easier when we throw Errol Spence versus Fundora name in there. Instead of a Terence Crawford name in there with no promoter, free agent, no network behind him that we know of. Which means if there is no entity putting the money up, then how the fighters are going to get paid. So it all has to make sense. And that's really basically all I'm talking about. It's got to make sense. So, I mean, look, this all makes sense to me. I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Y'all know what that means, right?